Hi, and welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. We got Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself, Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. I think we're going to have a good week. We've had some interesting things to watch this week. I think our opinions may differ as per usual, which makes it fun. But if this is your first time, general format is we will talk about the best things that we watched in the video segment. Along with that, Chris will do a movie quick quiz to those that he asked last week. He'll do some new ones. I will ask a stupid question, then we'll get stuck in. And I'll do an anime section or segment at the end if I have anime to talk about. And then we jump in to our audio exclusive content, which is wherever you listen to podcasts. And that is pretty much everywhere. We have a good community that is joining us there at the moment. And this week we have a film that Chris had never seen before. I'd seen many, many years ago, that I think is one of the best films. Like, it should be in one of the top 100 films of like most interesting and unique story experiences. It's called Old Boy. So if you want to hear us talk about that in the podcast section, join us for that. If you're on our Patreon, which starts at just £1, we have over 90 films there. The Patreon has the video segment as well, so you can watch us in all our glory talking and being silly and nonsense, as well as whatever you guys ask us to review on the Patreon, because there's different tiers and people ask us to review series and movies. We do skits. There's a bunch of cornucopia of stuff. That is literally £1. And before we get stuck in, lastly, first week of February, which is the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd.
Next week.
It's next week, dude. No?
It is next week. It's,
Gosh,
well, at least when you were listening to this, or when
when we were recording
the
this, yeah.
3rd. Yeah.
I came around quickly. We're going to be doing another live. Now, our first one was particularly long, was 3 hours, because we just love talking so much, and we had a good time chatting to you guys. So We're going to cut it down to 2 hours. We have a plan of how to do that, but it was a lot of fun. And so if you want to see this live, which means all the mistakes get kept in.
Everything.
Anytime we mess up or swear or say something that might piss off somebody on the internet and we go jug on, then that all stays in there. So that's all good fun. Thank you for supporting us last time. For those that did come, I think we had, initially we had about 40 to 50 people, and then people still watched as normally. So yeah, it was a really good experience. So we're going to keep doing that once a month. And so the next one is next week. UK time would be 4 p.m. US time is...
Pacific time, US time.
Specific, US sorry. You have so many time zones in America because it's too big. Yeah.
Definitely. Pacific 8 a.m.
8 a.m. So I think between those two time zones, you can work out whatever time. And if you're around, if you're awake at that time because of whatever your work-life schedule is, then please do join us. We appreciate your eyeballs being live with us.
Yes.
Is that everything, Chris?
Yes, I think so.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you want to talk to us about your movie answers from last week?
Yes, Nostromo said I'm fired, so I don't know if that holds up for everybody, but he did get all 3, so whatever. Okay. The Bunny Dojo, Nostromo, Chris Retzlaff got all 3.
Nice.
Tara Briscoe did get all 3, but not from the very first movie.
Maybe.
Yeah. And that was a tricky one because it's in at least 3 movies.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And then Red Comet got 2 out of 3. So the answers to last week were The Last Starfighter, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's the one I got.
And then good. And then the tricky one, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. So I've seen the original Wrath of Khan once. And I've seen the new version loads more. So that's the one I remembered it from.
Well, and he's also it said in the first Kelvin timeline where Spock and old Spock and Chris Pine's Kirk are talking towards the end.
Yeah, one's dying from radiation. That scene? Isn't it that scene?
No.
Right. Okay.
In the and then in there's also in 3, The Search for Spock.
Right.
That one.
In that one as well. Oh my gosh.
So it was if you got Star Trek and you knew it was Spock, then hey, good. That's,
I don't think I've seen The Last Starfighter. Like, I didn't recognize that at all. I don't even know what that is.
Dude, Centauri, the kid in the trailer park who plays the video game, and then the old...
Doesn't ring a bell.
Seriously, look it up right now. No. No.
The Last Starfighter. Okay, cool. 1984.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this.
Shut up. Seriously?
No, I'm serious, yeah.
Dude. Okay, everybody, this is a movie that we are going to track down and watch at some point because this is...
Is it black and white?
No. What?
It's an 80s movie. Oh, it's 84, yeah.
It's 80. Dude, it is... the graphics...
It looks so rubbish.
The graphics, even at the time,
were
video game-esque. Yeah, and that's okay. There is some cheese to it, but you may not like it then because, like, for me, this is going to be pure nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, watching this thing because it is just,
But I love 80s movies, so...
And this is sci-fi. I mean, this is...
I wonder why this never came round to my zeitgeist part of the world. That's so odd.
Yeah, 84. How did you...
Might have not just been popular in South Africa at the time, so it just didn't come round.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But okay, so we're going to have to... Yeah, we'll...
okay.
We're going to watch
Maybe
that. Okay.
Next week's movie.
There you go. So, okay. This week, if you're ready, got 3 more. Oh, well, so the obviously the theme for last week was just sci-fi.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Okay. This week, number 1. I hope that when the world comes to an end, I can breathe sigh. Let me just start over. I hope that when the world comes to an end, I can breathe a sigh of relief because there will be so much to look forward to. Number 2. There's a bag of lie in your basement. It's half empty. Your wife thinks you've been helping us, but we both know that's not true.
Ah, that rings a bell. I know that. Oh my gosh.
That's my job. That's what I do. I'd like to think if you're seeing me, you're having the worst day of your life.
Okay. Nice quotes.
Intense roles actually on each of them. I didn't even think about that part of it, but yeah, it's so anyway, let us know in the comments. We'll give you the shout out next week. Or
one second. This is for thumbnails. Because we hadn't done that. I was like, oh yeah, I just remembered something. Yeah, cool.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, good. Yeah, well,
okay.
Ruben, do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I don't know if I've asked this question before, actually, but I think I might have. Maybe I really am getting old. But I went and watched an Indian movie this week, and it had an intermission, and I was like, should we go back to intermissions for long pauses? Because I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to go pee. This is a 2.5-hour movie. I've watched half an hour of trailers and ads. I need to go pee. I've reached that age in my life where peeing feels good. And then I was at the urinal. I was like, what is the best time or the best feeling when you've had a pee? Because like you can be really, really painfully full. Mm-hmm. And then you're peeing and it doesn't feel, but you can be really full and it just feels so good. You're like, that's not the question, but feel free to answer. The question is, do we need intermission? Bring back intermissions.
Like that was a weird transition, dude.
Yeah,
into urination.
No,
my
great.
Gosh,
this is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I think yes. I think if the movie is over, if it's over 2.5 hours. Then yeah, do that, because there have been some that you just need to be, you know what I mean, but you don't know when the right time to take a leak is, or to get up and whatever, and so you could end up missing something pivotal, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm all for intermissions when
I have done that, like films I'm really enjoying, and I don't know when to get up. Like, are they talking? No, it feels like they're building up to something. I really got to go. Oh, they did build up to something. Damn it. And then I'll go. And my son would be like, you missed the best part. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, there was, and I'm trying to remember the movie that we had watched recently, but like we were right towards the end of the movie, okay, and my son, was it? No, one of my, I don't know, one of my kids was like, they had to go, and they could, they've been holding it and holding it and holding it, and like that something big is coming towards the end, right? Yeah. We're coming to that climax, and they just couldn't hold it, and they walk by and stuff like that. And after the movie, because then the movie ended like 4 minutes later, something like that. I mean, it was crazy. And then found out, well, they started to go out, and we're like, no, wait a minute, I can't do this. So they walked back in just into the hallway doing the dance.
Just that little alley, dancing around, going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I remember, when we saw Avatar, The Way of Water, like I didn't get up and pee in that.
Yeah.
And the walking to the bathroom from the screening, like I was doubled over in pain. Yeah. My bladder and my stomach and the whole just midsection was so painful. No. And I'm shuffling because I'm afraid that literally I'm going to pee my pants.
Yeah, and my wife tells this story when she was pregnant with our first son. She was heavily pregnant, like 8 months. One of the Lord of the Rings films was out, and we went to go and watch it, and she'd watched it, but it was so good. But when she's coming out, because she's so pregnant, it like pushes down on your bladder.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's walking like a duck because she knows if she walks normally, that's just going to be like over. My water's broken sort of thing. It's she remembers that painfully as well.
Yeah, well, and Way of Water was not worth a kidney infection.
No, it wasn't. The first Avatar, maybe.
Maybe.
The second one, no.
So, yeah, I think the filmmakers, if they're going to make a long movie, you should be cognizant of this. And you know what I mean? And that's actually a bonus to your audience, because you're thinking of them and their comfort, and you're thinking of the larger audience also, not just
Why not
the young
make
kids
it a big event? Like make it like sell it as a selling point. And then bring like old school trays of, walk up and down the aisles if you've got cash, or even like those quick things, and sell sweets and stuff to people. You make extra money. Like, come on. You could make it a thing. You could have special advertisement during that time for those that just sit there and wait like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See.
Okay, that's a good question. I think they should.
Yeah. All right, let's cool. Jump in.
All right. You want to start? You want me to start?
Sure.
I think we have overlap on some of them, but
we definitely do. But I think I have more than you this week, so I will start, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this film, I had a big cinema week this week. I watched 3 films at the cinema, which is very unique for me. I am tired because of it. It takes a lot out. Like, it just, you don't think it does. Like, how hard is it to sit down and watch me? You got to go there. You have to eat the popcorn.
You have to. I love it. You have to eat the popcorn.
Well, yeah.
There's somebody next to you, gun to your head, like, finish that bowl.
You have to put the M&Ms in the popcorn. And that is how my diet works.
Fair enough.
No. What was I saying?
You went to the cinema, a lot of movies to this week. Takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Tired. And then we got caught on a tangent about popcorn and M&Ms.
All right, fine.
I don't even know what movie you're talking about. So
great, cool. So if you're part of the Ruby Tuesday, I review a lot of anime. Because I love it. I love the world. I love what you can do. There's a lot of what you can do in anime movies that you can't do in live action. Just doesn't translate the same way. You can make things look realistic in anime that if you translate that to live action, it just looks like a CG fest and just doesn't work. That's kind of the reason why, one of the reasons why I love anime. So there was this animated film that was showing at the cinema. I had heard nothing about it. I heard nobody talking about it. I tried to look it up on IMDb. Nothing. I did research. I was like, what is this movie? So I took the chance. I was like, you know what? I love anime. Let's go give it. And I was like, oh wait, this is an anime, or technically it's animated, but it's actually a Chinese animated movie. So therefore, it's called something else that I'm not going to try and pronounce because people will be angry. So let's call it a Chinese animated movie. It's called The Storm. And in my review, the best way for me to describe it is Studio Ghibli meets Chinese animation style. There's a animated series that's from China on Netflix called Scissor 7, just to give you an example of the style that you look at. You combine that and that's what you get here. It's very similar story-wise to Spirited Away, but obviously it's culture specific. And I still don't know really to tell you what happened. Like it is a fairly confusing story. You come out going, yeah, that was awesome, but okay. So how do I explain it? Okay, so there's a guy that takes on a kid that's homeless. He basically becomes his kid's surrogate father. There's a boat that is pushed on the water by jelly eels. Let's call them spiritual jelly eels. They squishy
Jellicles.
And white and... Huh? Did you say genitals? What?
No, jellicles.
Jellicles. Angelicals.
From
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah, no.
No, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
It's very much steeped in the spiritual lore. It's like as if spirits and humans are just living in the world together. That's normal. So it's not in the world we know. It's in like the Spirited Away world. The creature creations that you get in here, that is the reason why I'm saying it looks so similar to some of what you see in Spirited Away. Even the shot selection, that kind of thing, the color palette. But what makes this so unique is how they show their action with the style that they have, which is why I like Scissor 7 so much. The angular... it's not like directly angular, but it's like more straighter characters. They seem defined when they move. You're seeing the movements go left and right with like a fluidity to them. And so when you add in the vibrancy of the world that we're living in, so most of the film is set in a dilapidated old town. All wooden structures, very much lush with greenery and shrubbery in amongst this big river with water. Water's done beautifully. There's a rain sequence with like this splashing that I was just so amazed. I was like, I can't tell which bits is real or not, like which is not real. And I was like, is it real? Did they meld like? And I know it was animation, but it was so beautiful to watch. Now moments like that are great. The only issue I've really had with the film is that some of the language, they spoke really quickly. So the Chinese subtitles, I was reading really fast, and then sometimes I just ignore the subtitles and rather watch the visuals because I didn't want to miss the visuals because of some of the dialogue. That was only an issue for a little while. For the most part, it was more a story that was visually told. There were some moments that were dumping exposition, like trying to catch up the audience with the lore of what has happened already, which I appreciated. So I didn't mind so much because I was like, I really need to understand what's happening in the story. So they gave us this, the background as to why there's this huge Noah's Ark type ship is here bringing about these spirits that are affecting the land, and how this other group, like these soldiers, are seemingly the good guys to take out these spirits, but then you realize it's so much more complicated than that. There's a lot of changing of humans getting affected by these spirits, and they become more mushy gelatin eel things, and so you can get affected and bitten, and once you become that, you become part of them. It's all very symbiotic, so it all kind of plays into each other. So you kind of know who you're rooting for until you're like, but you guys seem like you're the bad guys. Like, what is it? And I think it's a very political story if you know what it represents. But if you're from a outside culture, for someone like me, this just comes off as an amazing adventure that the animation was just... I was like, dude, Summer Studio Ghibli wishes it was this good. Like, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at some images, and I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one, really. Was there a kid that had like a
He's wearing a
type
hat.
of thing?
Yeah, like a coconut. That's his like protective armor gear. And it actually comically does protect him in one part of the film, which I thought was great. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, when you told me you had watched this, I'm like, I looked it up, and I'm like, I can't find it. I don't even know what this is. You know,
Did you manage to find it now?
Not on IMDb. There are some reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. There's some. There's a trailer or two on YouTube. There's a couple images from this place called Cartoon Brew.
Right. So to find it on IMDb, in case you want to find the film and look at for yourself, like where it's showing, look up the director, who's Busifan, Busifn. If you look up the director, Busifan, then he comes up as a different name, as they often do, because I'm guessing it's the translation. So that is Zygang Yang. And Zygang Yang, you can look up on IMDb. See what I meant? Like, I feel so sad because I feel like a lot of people just aren't going to find this film.
Well, this was not playing by me at all, like anywhere around. So that's...
And I was so lucky that it came to my cinema. I was just like, because we don't get films like this. So anyway, if you look up Zygang Yang, the original title is Da Yu, but that was like the title for his original film. It's very confused. I think something has gotten lost in translation. Yeah, I really do. Yeah. Which is why there isn't even a synopsis for the film on IMDb once you find it.
Yeah, so, there's nothing. I mean, there's no information outside of the writer director being the same guy. Yeah, that's. Well, I'm glad that it.
And it's at the cinema. That's what I mean. It's like it's past its, publishing time. The marketing team is just on.
Well, and what's surprising is that it's not. What am I trying to say? Yeah, that they're not publicizing it at all, because like The Wandering Earth and then The Wandering Earth 2, I didn't see any advertisements for it, but I saw it on the listings of the theaters, and then obviously word of mouth, which I'm so glad for. But I guess this is what it's going to have to be, but it's not in the U.S., at least in California, Northern California, where I'm at. There is no way to watch this yet.
Great.
And the poster is beautiful.
Yeah, that's representative of the film. That's what the film looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, if we get more stuff like this, I don't think we're going to see anything at Pixar in any of the awards ceremonies, because they're going to have to up their game massively.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think they need to. So anyway, that's a side.
So anyway, if you see this film and you're a fan of animated films and it's like happens to be showing near you, like get to that, because it's going to be there and gone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay.
Cool. So what's on your list?
Well, Sundance on the online portion has been going on. It started on Thursday. Friday, I watched 5 movies.
Dude.
Yeah, we bought. My wife and I bought 14 tickets to 14 movies.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, so I watched 2 on Thursday, 5 on Friday. I have 7 left.
You watched 5 movies. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing though. I have to get through them by 10:55 p.m. Sunday night, because that's
they're all
when the
timed?
access expires.
Yeah. Okay.
So, So anyway, I've got a bunch to watch, but I just want to briefly touch on one that I saw, because some of them I've really enjoyed, and some of them have been, like, one of them actually pissed my wife off, because it was the one of them that she really wanted to watch.
Right.
It was terrible. It was just done.
It was like, so how did you get to Sundance sort of thing?
Yeah. And actually, if you want to hear more about that, that's going to be on my list of the worst thing I watched this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay.
So that'll be in the audio section. But I want to talk about an Austrian film, just briefly, because obviously I have no idea when this is going to come out or anything else. But it's called Veni, Vidi, Vici.
Oh, Veni, Vidi, Vici.
Like the name. I came, I saw,
Vici.
I conquered. Yeah. So this is a drama and a dark comedy, but it's way more on the dark side than on the comedy. The quick synopsis that's on IMDb is: the Maynards and their children lead an almost perfect billionaire family life. Amon is a passionate hunter, but doesn't shoot animals, as the family's wealth allows them to totally live free from consequences. So you kind of know where this is going to go just right off the bat. And the opening sequence takes away that mystique, because within the first couple of minutes, we see what this family does, because they're ultra rich. There's some weird sounds that happen in this. Like, the score is bizarre. Like, you hear this repeating type of drum, like, throughout the entire movie, not nonstop, but it would just at key points, like it's trying to accent something. Kind of like when a jump scare happens, where it goes, woo, right before, the score zooms up. Something like that. And then you have some, like, odd vocalizations, too, where people are going, bop, 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 bop. Very weird. Okay, but the content, that was distracting for me, honestly, that part of it. But the drama and the story is intriguing, because you are watching these people who they function like not even outside of the law or above the law, just without any regard for anything, because they are so rich that they just don't care. And the acting is great, because these characters, you hate them because of their actions. But then also, if you look at some of their internal actions, like this dude, the main character, Amon, he's a massive family guy. Like, he loves his family. He loves his family above the wealth. And you watch him be this great dad to his kids. And so it's very confusing emotionally. The thing that really caught me is with these online screenings from Sundance, you typically get a small little interview before the film starts with the director.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so you get to hear more of their insight or whatever. When this one was directed by two people, Daniel Hossel and Julia Niemann, and they're together. Now, they barely talked about the film. There was more of like, hey, thanks for, watching this. We hope that you enjoy the commentary that's within it or whatever. And then one of them said, and I wish we were there in person to see your reaction at the end. And one of them said that, and the other one kind of smirked and looked at him and went, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on?
What's going to happen at the end? Yeah.
It is, there are some abrupt things that happen in the movie, and it's not going to be for everybody. It's in German, because it takes place in Austria. The characters are complex, even though they're not. Like, they sound like they could be almost one-dimensional, because you just have rich people who do whatever the crap they want. Yeah. There are opportunities to have more character development that they don't go into, because it's a relatively short movie. It's under 90 minutes. But for the message that it's given, for the critique that it's bringing, and then for the performances that we get and how, just like I said, emotionally confusing they are.
Yeah.
It's definitely one to experience. I don't know how much you would go back to it. You know what I mean? Because it's once you've seen it, I mean, maybe you would once just to kind of, okay, now I know how everything's going. Let me rewatch because there's some moments in this that I want to better understand. But outside of that, yeah, it was fun. So I don't know. My guess is at some point you're going to find it on Netflix or Prime.
Oh, one of those.
Those are probably the ones that'll snap it up first. But yeah, Veni, Vidi, Vici.
I wonder if there's a couple of guys with cards, one representative from Amazon, one from Netflix, and they're like, buy $220, $230, $240.
Well, one of the movies that I have on my that I still have to watch comes out on Hulu already in like 2 weeks.
Holy crap!
So they've already bought it. I was like, wow, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Holy crap, Batman. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I tried to buy a couple of films for the online version of Sundance, and it doesn't come up with anything. Like there's nothing there.
Oh, really? Because they have in their verbiage, like some are available internationally.
Yeah, and I tried, but nothing.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, weird. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so the one I'm going to talk about now isn't necessarily a good film.
Okay, good.
But it is in the best thing I watched this week because I enjoyed it so much.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Then.
I saw some... I was nothing but positive in this review, except for saying that it's definitely Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick mashed together if Bollywood did a Top Gun and Maverick film with music videos. And the only negative thing I said about this film was that the flying was better in Maverick. And if you've seen Maverick and you understand what Tom Cruise did to make that film, then you would understand and be okay with that. But if you're one of those people that thinks that anything your country does is better than another country's, and you can't see past your own culture, then jog on. That's what I have to say about this. Because The Fighter came out, and this is the one where I was talking about had an intermission.
Yeah.
It is so cheesy. The guys have abs on their abs.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like super, super good looking. And you get a lot of time to see them good looking because you think Zack Snyder knows slow-mo? No, he doesn't. And this really is also the story of Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick put together. I'm not even joking about that. It's and because it's like 3 hours long, it has time to put both of those stories in together. Because let's be honest, both of the Top Gun stories are pretty basic and very similar to each other. And this one takes the best of all of that, does the slow-mo hero walks a lot.
Oh, wow.
It does the MTV music videos a lot.
Oh, the dance numbers.
Yeah, the dance numbers.
Yeah.
I kind of liked how they did one of them here. So it's like a love story. These two main protagonists are falling in love with the prettiest people, are falling in love with each other. And they're gazing at each other. They're on a train. And then the music video happens and they've had a number of outfit changes and they're dancing and they're in the pool. There's this whole love story. And then they come back as if it was the glance that they had experienced all that, and then they're back into the train. And I was like, oh, that kind of works.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I was like, that's a clever way to do it. Like, because so many times I've seen where they just take you out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? But this film is unapologetically knowing what it is. So the cheese, the dialogue lines, the moments that it's so patriotic where they're waving the country's flag, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can't be mad about it because America and the UK have been doing that for years. They've just stayed in that 90s action, and they were like, we like it when we know who our heroes are. We know who our bad guys are. We want escapism. Our life sucks normally on Earth, so we're going to make this the best possible time. The heroes are overpowered and the evil villains are just, wah, I'm evil, like Skeletor. Yeah. And off you go. And so I watched it. I was the only white dude in the audience. And
Good.
when I arrived at the cinema, I was the only one there. I was
wow.
10 minutes early, okay, but that's just me being my anxious self, getting there early,
You were
finding my
only
seat.
10 minutes early?
Yeah.
And they
And no one
nobody
was
had
there.
shown up?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought,
Okay.
oh no, that's sad for this film. By the time the ads had gone through like 10, 15 minutes, it was halfway full. So like everybody arrived, and I was the only white guy. It was a range of Indian age group. So it was like young teen to like probably 60, 70. And then when the film started and they started seeing the actors, there was like, whoop! And, and then there was like non-apologetically filming for like 10, 15 seconds, like the sequences
Like
of the
title
dancing
or whatever. Yeah.
or the title. And you know what? I didn't care. I wasn't upset because they were so enjoying celebrating this film, their culture being represented as film. I was in it with them, man.
That's so great. See, that's the kind, like I've loved it when I've seen some Indian movies and I have an audience with me.
Yeah.
Because you get the excitement and everything. You know, I mean, it's for me, it becomes a cultural experience because,
exactly
you know, it's
that.
something outside of what I'm normally used to, which I love. When I watch them, when it's just me in the theater, like the movie may be fine, but it's just kind of a more of a depressing and lack of, you know, it's like watching a horror film when the theater's packed and everybody reacts. I mean, that community
Yes,
response
exactly.
and engagement is outstanding. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So that's what I felt. I probably would have given it a lower score had I been the only person. But because I could see how much other people were enjoying it, what it meant to them, I was able to step back from my white self, my 40-year-old bearded man self, and go, oh, okay, this is what the film is. It's doing what it's meant to do. There's a lady that had like recorded the dude in slow-mo as he's like all wet and she caught it. And then I could literally see her tweeting, check out what's his face from. I was like, that's hilarious. She's like,
That's so good. Well, remember, what was it? Was it Pathan? When you were like, some lady next to me was like, ooh. And it happened to me also. Like,
really?
There were some people who, they were like, ooh. And I'm like, okay. Fair enough.
Like,
yeah, he's
fair
ripped,
enough,
so
man.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, you work for that body. You might as well get the praise for it. So
Exactly, yeah. Well, and going through, just looking at IMDb, I mean, I definitely, like some of these people look familiar, like Anil Kapoor.
we've definitely, yeah, Anil Kapoor.
You know, Deepika Padukone.
Yeah, definitely seen her.
I'm sorry, I messed up that name. And I'm sure some other ones too that, you know, that
Deepika, who you just mentioned, was in Jawan and Pathan.
And Pathan, yeah. So anyway, that's cool. So it was a fun experience.
It was.
That's what you're.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long do you think the movie would be if they didn't have all the slow-mo?
3 minutes. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's almost every shot. Seriously, there's a lot of slow mo.
Yeah, I saw the trailer playing a few times, and there are a couple of like awesome ones where you have this fighter jet flying in between two helicopters,
so
and
good.
it slows down for a second to see that. That is a great use of slow mo.
Yeah,
when you use it sparingly, you know what I mean. To see some of these,
when they do use it, especially in the fighting sequences, is great. I just don't know that I believe that and I'm pretty sure that it wasn't them. Like, I don't know that's real. Like, we probably have the shots of the pilots flying the planes. That might be real. But the actors, they're probably in a green screen rig in a shell.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Although there's a lot of thanks to the various pilots and in the movie, so I don't know, but it had a feeling of green screen to it in part of it. I just didn't get that same sort of oomph that I got from, like, say, IMAX cameras inside the cockpit of a plane, like Maverick. Yeah.
Oh, I saw a dude without his shirt on. Wow, he was ripped.
I told you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
abs
on
on
abs. Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
Make me feel bad. Yeah.
I like donuts too much.
I like the one shape round.
Yes. Yes. Okay. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, this might surprise you. I don't know, because it's on my list. And we're moving from one airplane thing to another airplane thing. Apple's Masters of the Air.
Oh, this does surprise me. Okay. I didn't think
I didn't dislike
this.
it.
Oh, okay.
I had issues with it. We're not going to do spoilers because obviously only the first 2 episodes are out, and we have seen the entire series. So,
yeah.
There are some dogfight scenes towards the end of the series. Holy crap.
So brutal, just chaotic.
How do you even know what?
That's what I thought. How do you know who you're shooting? I swear you just shot down your buddy.
Well, and could you imagine having to bail out?
Oh, amongst that, bailing out was terrifying then anyway, as they showed us, but dude.
Yeah. I grew to like and be connected with several of the characters over the course of the show.
Okay.
But at the beginning, I was really struggling. Like,
I can understand
for
that.
me, the emotional investment in some of the sequences, especially in the first episode or 2, had to do with the tension of the circumstances.
Yes.
Not because I was concerned
Not because
about
you were concerned
people.
about the... Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I think in acting, I look for, especially when there's not a lot of dialogue or flashbacks or anything like that to grow the characters. I look for like the understated meaning of like, what does this mean? Why is he acting like that? And that's what I take from that. I don't know whether it's because I've grown up with like a wife that's slightly autistic and a son that is autistic, that I read specifically into mannerisms of people, and so I maybe sometimes get more out of what the actor is even giving. Maybe I'm reading stuff that isn't there. I was like, dude, that was such an emotional moment, and it's just, I just said hi, you know. it's that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the film. The series.
The series.
I mean, I did. It was. I don't think it was a masterpiece like you thought, but that's
How
okay.
dare you?
I know. But I did have fun with it. I thought that, as we move along, the way that they show the stress is not necessarily the right word, but just the oppressive sadness that encompasses these pilots and these the whole bombing group.
Yeah. Because
once they realize, first off, that wait, we're going on another mission on the exact same thing tomorrow. What's going?
Yeah.
What, these types of things, and then when they learn more, you're like, and some of them speak out, or they have these emotional breakdown moments, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
There's moments in the series where you get, because so many of them have died, and that's not a spoiler, it just happens. So they get more recruits, and they can't bring themselves to get emotionally attached to the recruits because they know they won't be around for very long. And that was very real. I thought, it's like, damn, that's very true, because like one kid says like, we're up there in a tank, and the other guy was like, it's not a tank, it's a tin can. And
well,
and
the series
not wrong.
The series does a great job of showing that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times where they're examining the planes when they return from a mission. Mm-hmm. And no joke, I'm like, how in the world was that even in the air?
How was it together in like a shape?
Yeah, because they're going, a couple hundred miles an hour in the air or whatever. And how did that hold on to itself? It was just, yeah. So it was, and I didn't mention this. I don't know if you mentioned this either. Maybe you did. The score.
Oh my gosh, dude, the theme.
The musical score. That theme song.
That theme is haunting. It's beautiful.
Dude,
yeah.
That is just as great as the Band of Brothers one. I mean, I'm like, just like normally because we watch so much, if I'm given the option, I will skip the intros.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what I mean? To get back to the content.
Yeah.
Especially after I've seen it once. This one, no, I have no interest in doing that.
As it crescendos into that end, like the horns that they're using, dude, I'm just like, that's emotional. Like, I get what he's saying with that music.
Yeah.
Patriotic, but also like it encompasses everything going. Like when you can speak with music, it's like there's a dialogue there. That's incredible. Very well done.
Yeah. It was transcending like nationalism type of thing, and it was really speaking to the camaraderie of the characters.
Yeah,
you know,
that's music. Yeah. So I really loved it. This was in my the best thing. Obviously, if you see my review, you'll know that I loved it. I have had a mixed response of people, which is good. I think it's good because people like different things. I specifically asked ladies whether they liked Band of Brothers and the Pacific, because it's a very manly thing to like, war, because in World War II it was men that went to war, and if you saw a woman, they were either the ones that like looking pretty, or the nurses, which is like really important, or so we take for granted that women also enjoy war stories. So I thought it would be very interesting to see who. And I did get a few comments of like women that love the Band of Brothers and the war stuff. So that was a really interesting kind of moment, reflection at, the culture, something I don't normally think about. And then the other kind of negative, and I didn't really think about this at the time, but when I watch this, I watch it as a reflection of what happened, not necessarily like a documentary. I know a lot of this is skewed, but some people watch this stuff and they take it as like, they've messed up my history. There was a few comments. There's one in particular. So the Battle of Britain was won by the British, Canadian, Polish fighters, and there were escorts to the Americans. Never shown. This is just more America's the greatest bullshit. The amount of allies that did previous to Americans' involvement quintupled America's casualties. And to make matters worse, the Americans could have saved so many lives by flying at night. They were reckless and foolish and often missed entire missions by a country mile. This show is barely historically accurate. And to be honest, Memphis Belle had more believable cinematography. And by the way, an airman showed air sickness was immediately washed out of flight school. So that also wouldn't have happened. This is anything but a masterpiece, and I think it's high time the Americans engage with reality. You helped speed up the fall of Germany. You didn't save anyone. The real fighting was already done for the second time. It could be right, but also this is a fictional story about a time of stuff that did happen. They took an element of the reality. Also, I don't think you know for sure. Saying things like when you throw up, you get kicked out. I don't think that would have been for everybody. If you had favor with someone and you were really good at your job, they may have like, okay, I like this person's expertise, I'm hoping. And he himself said that he overcame it. It just happened to be bad that time. So like, I think
he also said that he had hidden it.
Oh yeah.
In that specific, I mean, he was like, the people were surprised by it because he
was like, how is he here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I can understand the nitpicks and stuff like that. That, sure. And if it bothers you that it's not absolutely historically accurate, fine, fair enough. Especially
but don't keep watching it then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like when you think of Band of Brothers, it was based on the book and then supplemented by interviews and retellings from the people that were actually there and involved. So a lot of the characters that we watch in Band of Brothers, they got to tell their story and they got to provide feedback, which I think added so much more weight to what we saw. In here, I didn't get it as so much yay America, because I'm not yay America. I just saw it as a dramatization of a snippet of things that happened. You know what I mean? We're watching it from one base that
exactly.
fly in there.
But also that comment is taking its viewpoint from 2 episodes. And you and I have had this perspective of watched all 9, and we know there's much more to the story. Yeah. I did notice that with a lot of the comments too. I mean, like, people were like, this is, it's terrible or whatever. And you know what? Honestly, the first episode I did not enjoy very much. I remember you saying.
A mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is like thrown at us. Things, like I said, this one thing is set up as a flashback, but it's not a flashback. I mean, it's just like, what? I'm confused. Wait
Which
a minute. Time out here.
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah. And so, okay, fair enough. I think by the end of episode 2, it had found its footing and it kind of knew where it was going. And then from there, we get more character development. We get more introductions and depth and time with some of these characters. I still think it's rushed in a lot of spots. You know what I mean? It's lacking in
I said it needed that extra episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
That 10.
Well, and I always think back to Band of Brothers. Like, I had HBO, they aired both the first 2 episodes together also.
Right.
Had they only shown that first episode where they're just at Currahee in basic training, I don't think people would have watched beyond that.
Interesting.
Because it was massively character building, but not story building. Like, we did great. Why am I getting these? And then we get to watch them like go, and there's like, holy crap, okay, this is, now I'm in it. And so you needed all of that time that is slow to give us this context. Who do we like? Who are these players? Why are they important? And where are they going to rise? And so anyway,
I reckon there's going to be a massive resurgence of the Band of Brothers now.
I watch it at least once a year, except for the episode Why We Fight. I cannot watch that episode again. That's the one where they come upon the concentration camp.
Right.
I mean, it's a very important portion of the story.
Yeah.
But sorry, I can't do that to myself.
I've gone to sleep.
For those on the audio, Ruben's camera stopped, and he just happened to be blinking at that moment, and so literally
Ruben's like,
he has fallen asleep as I'm talking
Chris.
to him.
I'm going to sleep. All right.
Your time is up. You're boring.
Yeah, you're boring now. Thanks. I'm going to swap my battery. So the only reason why I read that comment, because I do think the comment was particularly facetious and miserable, but he also had some points. Like if it meant a lot to you, looking at it from different viewpoints, if you thought like this is your history and this is like maybe you got family, and that particular mission, like he said that thing about doing the missions at night, and we were, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of right.
Well, and it's raised in that argument itself is raised
in the series. Yeah. So
yeah. That's I think unfortunately for some shows or that the week to week, this is what you run into.
Yeah.
I think Disney has run up against it a lot with their Marvel stuff. Yeah. And the Star Wars stuff, and a lot of it's warranted because it is rushed or whatever.
Although,
but
that didn't help Echo, did it? They dropped all of that.
No, it didn't.
It was still poo.
Yeah. Well, then it was 5 episodes.
Yeah.
You went shorter? What's going on here? Why I don't
we've been complaining about the length for ages, and they're like, you know what? Let's make it shorter.
Yeah, but we'll give them to you all at once. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. So, yeah. I just think you need the whole context of the thing as a whole, not just as a portion of it. Like, it would be like reviewing a movie after the first 20 minutes and not seeing the rest of how it, you know what I mean? Like, the first part of it may be not as engaging, but it picks up and it redeems itself a little bit later.
There were a few reviewers, critics a while back that would openly out themselves. Like, I watched the first episode and the last episode of the series, and I have to say, I don't think it was very good. It's a bit drawn out, bit rushed in places, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And that's it's like saying that. Like, I've watched the first 20 minutes of your 3-hour long film. I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, well, and really, I mean, think about that. This is a 9-hour film.
It is, yeah. Each episode is like
about
feature.
an hour. Yeah. Well, and the last one's over an hour. So
yeah.
Okay.
Performances, though, dude. I have to disagree with you about Austin Butler. I didn't pick up his Elvis bits at all.
I want you to Google about Austin Butler and Elvis accent. No. I kid you not. There are so many comments and threads and news articles. He actually hired a dialect coach to help break it.
Oh no, I didn't hear it at all. I just thought that was the main. That's I spoke.
No. If you watch, especially if you watch interviews from him from a couple of years ago,
yeah,
and then after Elvis,
true, because it has been going on for a long time. It has been a struggle to get this series out. So,
yeah. Well, and this came out after, obviously after Elvis, and it was done after Elvis.
It was, yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It's like, but I haven't seen Elvis. Like, I just didn't hear Elvis.
Oh.
So that was interesting to me, because if you'd not seen him portray Elvis, then you don't get Elvis.
Then you wouldn't associate that with, No, that makes sense. Totally.
Yeah. But I did think the performances were amazing. I thought they were really good.
I laughed at Barry Cowan because he felt like some of his other performances in there, which is not a knock to him. It was just he was kind of not silly.
Which one's Barry Cowan?
He's did you see the Banshees of Inisherin?
Yes.
He's the town idiot.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's in Saltburn.
But he's intelligent in this one. He wasn't in the Banshees.
No. I'm not saying that he was stupid or anything, but there were certain the mannerisms in the way he spoke.
I see that. Yeah.
It was just, it made me laugh. That was the only thing. I mean, I thought a lot of these were really great. I thought, I can't remember his name, but Crosby, the character of Crosby, he really grew on me later. As the show went along, like I began to like him more, and we get to see some insight into him. I don't necessarily agree with his actions and some of his decisions, but he was.
I have no idea. I guess I missed all that.
You know who he is? He's the one with who has some conversations with Bel Powley. He's the one who gets airsick.
No, I mean, I don't know what he's been up to. Yeah. You're talking about his actions. I thought you were talking about the actor in real life. You're talking about his actions in the series. Right. We were so on the wrong wavelength there.
Sorry. No, in the series.
Sorry, that was me.
In the series, like, I did
this
not.
actor has been doing some dodgy stuff, but his acting is great.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I have no idea what he's been doing. He was in the first couple episodes of Dairy Girls, though, which was awesome.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Cool.
Go ahead.
So Band of Brothers was on my list as well. So that's
or Masters of the Air.
Yes, Masters of the Air. See, it's me. My brain is gone.
Oh man!
This next film I'm talking about is also not on the best thing I watched this week, but I'm talking about it because it could have been. It could have been the best thing I watched this week. It could have been great. It could have been amazing. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
No, I don't.
Okay, no. So this is a film that's not coming out near you for a while. I think it's the new horror film called Baghead. It's based on a short film called Baghead by the same director who has managed to make his film into a feature called Baghead.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of those, you know why not all shorts should be made into features?
Uh-huh.
This has that with it. You know, not all shorts need to be features. I'm upset because the creature creation, the lore is all excellent. Like, it's really interesting. The execution of this film is great, but the story doesn't hold up for a feature-length story. It doesn't go places where it needs to be. There's some lore where this character, the Baghead, is like an entity or a demon in a humanoid form. You get to ask it to bring back someone from the dead, and you can speak to them for 2 minutes. As long as it swallows something that you have from that person, like a necklace, a hair, and once it swallows that, it almost becomes that person, and you've got 2 minutes to talk to your loved one. Okay. Once the 2 minutes are up, the demon is then in control. And so it can say anything as your loved one, but it's completely perverted and wrong.
Ooh.
Which is great. Like the lore there. But so last year we had the film with the hand.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. Pretty much the same sort of premise, except it's not a hand, it's a physical body. And so with Talk to Me, they had a whole bunch of people do it, right?
Yeah.
To see, they didn't do that in this. They had like 2 people do the thing, and I thought they were going to set it up. They did set it up to do. I expected, because there's this young girl that inherits this house where this person is as part of it, and she kind of signs her. She is now the guardian protector of this thing. It's her responsibility to keep it from being in the outside world. That's kind of the story and all the rules. Yeah, you don't want that. And she needs money, and her dad had charged lots of money for people to come and see this thing, to say goodbye to a loved one that perhaps died too early, or you needed to know something. You know, where did you put the key to the safe? I need to pay for that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a huge storyline that you could have done with that. They don't do it. It's just like it. I was like, the place that was obvious. It's like the checkmate move. There's obvious to go. They just didn't go there. I'm going to take his pawn instead of taking his queen. It's just a really weird. So all the acting and the way it's filmed, I talked about the color palette of black. There's some lenses in films today that film black. They're so black you don't even see the grain, which makes it more airy. So when you see the character that's illuminated with a light bulb or something, it's so much more like vibrant or scary, atmospheric. Yeah. When you see someone walk past the background, it's so much creepier. When they do that, yeah, it works well. So, you know, in Hereditary, when you see her walking on the... and everybody
she's up
just
in the corner first.
Oh
just
my god!
There.
And then it just walks. That kind of happens here. And then there is also like because it's spiritually, they can do whatever they want, right?
Yeah,
which is unfair. There's rules, man. That's when this works well. But then there's like 4 different jump scares as well. Loud music, big in your face, and I'm like, piss off. That's like, you may have scared me just because it was loud and in my face. That's not real fear. That's just forced fear, and I hate that. So that's one negativity. But then the way it ends, where they go, it feels like a Stephen King ending. There's another thing I said in my review. It feels like you got to the end. You know what we'll do? We'll do it this. You'll never see this coming. And to be honest, I didn't, because I didn't think they'd go there.
But was it the right choice?
I don't know. I don't like it.
I like, you're
just
talking
feels like
about
a missed opportunity.
Well, yeah, like you talk about how one of the owners had used it as like a marketing ploy, really, to drum up business for that. You can do that, like, to show more of that in very quick succession. You know what I mean?
You could also do that, like in showing why she won't do it, or like the consequences of that. Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been a perfect montage.
Because then, you speed that up, and, you know, the whole, however they shut it off at 2 minutes, you know what I mean, or whatever, and like they
the bag over the head, which is why it's called Baghead.
Okay. So, like, you know, to do that, and you edge yourself closer and closer, and then somebody, you know, stays longer, and you get to see a little bit of that, but it doesn't have the effect yet of, see, That's unfortunate. I'm curious about the short. You didn't see the short.
I haven't seen the short, but I kind of want to see it because I'm wondering if the short is better because it's contained.
Well, I saw this movie called The Jester a couple months ago, and it was based off a short. And the movie felt kind of like that. Like it was too drawn out for the idea that they had, and for but you could see where it was effective.
Yeah.
So, okay. I don't even know when this is supposed to come out in the U.S. I don't even see
This is another one of those movies that, when we say what we're looking forward to, it wasn't even on my radar, and I looked and it wasn't on, like, saying it was coming out, and then here it is. I was like, really? Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, it looks like it's hitting a lot of countries February 22nd.
Okay.
But, and then or even in the beginning of February. So I don't know. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. But no US date that I see. So, okay. You good to move on?
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay. This one, this might be on your list also. It's on my list because of the fun that I had with it, not necessarily how memorable or spectacular I thought the story was.
Okay.
But it's Netflix's Badland Hunters.
All right. It wasn't on my list, but yeah.
Okay. So we've got Don Lee, Gilgamesh from The Eternals. He was in Train to Busan. He's in a series of movies.
I have them ready to watch. Yeah, I'm going to be watching them this week because I want to see them. Yeah.
He's also in that movie that we just recently watched, something about the gangster, the cop, and the serial killer.
Oh yeah,
or something like that. Whatever that was. So the reasons that I enjoy this film are the action and the comedy.
Yes.
The comedy is unexpected.
Yeah.
And it's like
you probably wouldn't be on your list if the comedy wasn't in this movie.
Oh no. Yeah. I mean, because the action was fun, but it was just action. It was, I enjoyed watching big hulking Don Lee punch people
so quick
and them fly.
Oh, flipping heck. Like you can't take it seriously because like even when he uses a shotgun, the person flies like 30 meters and like that's not what shotgun does. but I love the fact it does in this movie.
There's a part through the door and it was just like okay, cool. That was fun. That's all it was. It was exactly. That's what I was enjoying those things. I mean, he's walking through questioning people, and when they don't have the answer or they don't know, or he even believes, he doesn't even let them answer. He's like, you don't know. And he does something to him. I mean, I was laughing about that because it was just, it understood the assignment of giving us some comedic moments. Yeah, exactly. Through this. And then the one scene, where he's reaching for something.
Oh dude, my gosh, I love
how relatable is that?
So relatable.
He's saw also, myself
because he's a big dude as well.
Yeah, you don't have the range of motion.
Yeah. It's such a serious moment. It's a badass moment, and he's like, "Oh crap, I can't."
And it didn't break the tension or the excitement of the scene, though.
No,
it kept it going.
I want to know who decided to put. Was that originally in the script, or was that actually? He couldn't reach it, so they just kept it in, and it just elevated it so much more.
Yeah, see, those were the things where like, okay, this is great. The story itself, I think, is forgettable. It's not. There's nothing.
It is, but I wouldn't have wanted more from it. Like, the A to B of the story. You're going to rescue someone, and you're going to save the day. You're the hero. Stop the mad scientist from doing. Like, is there more of a story that you could have had from this?
I think by building up the relationship, the past of Don Lee and the girl.
Oh, you could have. Yeah, I suppose we could have had a little bit more like, of their time.
There was a respect there, a care. You could tell that he cared for her like a daughter.
Yes.
He felt huge respect for the grandmother. She looked up to him, and the grandmother was like thankful and just grateful to him. So there's a past there that we don't really get, and so that would have made it more of a reason. I mean, you can get behind, hey, a innocent girl has been kidnapped, and now somebody's going to go get her. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense. You make him the hero instantly just by doing that because, she didn't, So it wasn't, it wasn't a terrible story. It just wasn't memorable for me. It was just kind of,
I think it gave me enough. Like, I liked the kid that wanted to be the hero, but wasn't quite just yet.
Loved him.
Like, he was growing into being a hero. Yes. I loved the woman that was in love with Gilgamesh. That I don't know whether she was
the gold lady,
like an old crone, but he gives her a snake, and the way she handles that snake, I was just cracking up.
Well, and then him referencing it later to be like, what was that about?
Or like the wine. It's just, there are moments in this that were funny that just really helped. Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I agree with those. I loved those moments. But seriously, like from a plot perspective,
it's thin, super thin. Yeah.
So, but the action and the comedy,
dude, some of the decapitations, I was just like, he hit so hard. Yeah.
And some of it, and see, I didn't watch the trailer going into this.
Yeah.
So there were moments that I was disappointed that they showed in the trailer because they surprised me, because you have people that have a certain ability. And like for me, that was a complete surprise. And then afterwards, when I saw the trailer, I was like, really, why would you show that? So
it's like kind of showing this season on, here are all the best moments.
Exactly. Yes. So I've seen the show. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
So anyway,
should we carry on?
So Badland Hunters. Yeah, go for
it. Okay. He-Man, but actually it's called Masters of the Universe Revolution. So this takes place after Revelation, and we all know how well Revelation was received by a lot of the fans.
That's why I didn't review it.
Do you remember the comments, Chris?
Oh yeah. No, I do. That's why I didn't engage this time, because
okay, so
mentally I couldn't do that to myself.
There's been a miracle in the zeitgeist of the fans. Most of my comments, I would say 75%, are positive. Are everybody going, I wasn't really a fan of Revelation, but this is great. And even the ones that are still not on board with this one are very much silenced by the positivity that these 5 episodes have gotten. I'm like, okay, cool. You guys, you like it now. I always liked it, so I was trendy first. But for me, this season was just a celebration of all things He-Man, and that's what I liked it. My only negativity was just because it's 5 episodes, it feels rushed in places. There's some storylines that I think we could have had more, but I also wonder if we did have more, whether it would have felt drawn out. So I think they did the right thing. I also read somewhere that this is Kevin Smith's last foray into it, which is sad because now that it's positive, he could have probably done more with it. Sure. And the end leaves us with 2 end credit sequences that lead us into places like, oh, we're going there for the next storyline? Awesome. So we definitely want more. So I don't know if it's them just engaging that they could possibly do more, if at least the fans now love it, which it does seem like the positivity towards this is much, much better. Animation, story-wise, we get a lot more of He-Man. I think that's what people were upset about, is that in the previous one, it's called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man. So it's all of the characters. There was the lesbian relationship with Teela, which was kind of lesbian, not really even going there. It was just a bit. And people didn't like that. There's less of that. So I wonder if he pulled back some of those revolutionary storylines, which is why he called it Revolution. Some people don't like Mark Hamill's voice acting for Skeletor. Dude rocks as Skeletor. I don't get it. I mean, I understand some of the complaints is he just sounds like he's
Joker.
And it's he kind of does, but I think it really works for this character. I love him as Skeletor. And for me, the best character is Skeletor. There's a sort of storyline that I can see them building into. A lot of characters got redemption storylines. I think it's possible now with the writing to do a redemption storyline for Skeletor, which would be awesome.
Wow.
Like, don't make him a good guy, but make him much more relatable, like on his journey. Because we've had that for Evil Lynn. She had a big storyline of like a redemption story this time around, and it really worked. I love the action. I love the redemption stories. I think it's excellent. Yeah.
So this was not billed as part 1. It was
no. This is a complete story. 5 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate then that they're getting all of the positive response now.
Someone said season 2 should have been season 1. And I was like, yeah, I get that.
Ah. Okay. So, yeah. Well.
You got any more?
I got no more.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about my anime
over 9,000
for this week. I'm only talking about one. In 2019, there was an anime series that came out to season 1 called The Promised Neverland. One of the darkest animated series I've ever seen that also balanced real, genuine innocence and comedy. So on one hand, you have all these kids in this orphanage. Gifted kids, isolated, idyllic orphanage discover the secret and sinister purpose they were raised for. So essentially, in the season 1, they find out that they're raised as livestock for monsters.
That's dark.
Yeah. And there's all these orphanages around a secluded place that we believe is Earth, but we're not sure. It's like hundreds of miles long, so they've been given a big portion of land. And so as these young kids find out about it, they make a plan to escape. So season 1's all about escaping the orphanage. Season 2 is about escaping the place and possibly stopping the monsters. Season 1 has 100% rating from the critics and 96% from the audience. Season 2 has something like none of the critics has reviewed it, and the audience gave it like 46%.
Whoa, that is a drastic change.
Yeah, so I watched it this week, season 2, because I've been holding off because I love the season 1 so much. I hadn't heard any of the negativity, and I understand the negativity now. Not that it's bad, but there's stuff that feels rushed. There's a lot of ground that they cover in this. And reading the comments, there's some integral characters that they just completely skipped over that are some of the fans' favorite characters that are introduced in season 2 that they just skipped over. And then once you get to the end, they wrap it up so quickly. Literally the last episode, it feels like it feels like they've started a journey for another season, and then 2 minutes later they come out. There's like this separation of some kids are saved, some of the kids are going to go save the other orphanages, other kids. They skip over it to where they've saved everybody, and then it's like, yeah, they're just done. And I'm like, are you serious? What happened? How?
There's a whole story there of a journey and new challenges, and
I can only imagine that it was budgetary, and we said we're not giving you any more, and they only found out like towards last month, and so they had to like wrap it up like that.
Wow.
So the animation is still great. The story is still dark as heck. There's beautiful characters in season 2, really good emotional moments, but the impact of what they had managed to create in season 1, they lost because of how they ended in season 2 and what they missed out in season 2, which is crazy because it was so well loved. It was so unique, different, that balance of comedy and heart and horror. Like you walk around the corner and there's like a monster eating the brain of your best friend. You know, that's gonna scar you. It's like, more food, nom nom nom. Now learn your maths. The smarter you are, the tastier you are. So
Yeah, screw you. I'm gonna be dumb. I'm gonna be shoving things up my nose to give myself a lobotomy.
ADF?
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay.
So that was disappointing.
Can I though? Let's go this way. Can you watch season 1 and not watch season 2 and feel satisfied, or is it like left open and so you kind of need a resolution?
Yeah, you could possibly watch. Oh my gosh, you could possibly watch to the middle of season 2, like episode 5, because there's a character there's a couple of characters that you don't know what happens to at the end of season 1, and they're a big part of it, and like you feel, but you find out what happens by the middle of season 2, and that is like a nice resolution.
So you could just end there and be
you could just end
somewhat
there.
satisfied.
Yeah, it's still very good, but it's like the difference between Terminator 1 and Terminator 4. You know, it's
okay.
Notice I didn't say 3 because nothing's that bad. But Terminator 4, like Terminator Salvation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's all my anime for this week.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. We hope you've found some things maybe to place on your watch list there. We would love to hear some of the best things that you watched, because it helps put things on our list as well. So let us know that in the comments. Also, don't forget to guess at the movie quote quiz and answer Ruben's question in the comments. We love reading those. And then don't forget our Patreon. £1 is that beginner price, gets you access to everything. It's patreon.com/thebeardedones. We do love our community there. It's awesome, and we love chatting with them. And speaking of chatting, next week, the 3rd of February, we will be going live again with a stronger schedule,
faster,
harder, stronger. Yeah. Dude, I love that. Yeah. So good.
Never
my hand
after.
Would fall off and cramp up. You know. So tune in live for that, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. London time, and then somewhere else in between there. I don't know. Figure that out. We have our podcast, our full audio version of the podcast, where we're talking about Old Boy, which I had never seen before, which that was a treat. And so we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about the thing that either did not make our list or it was the worst thing that we did. And then we have news and things that we're looking forward to in the coming weeks, so that maybe you could put that on your watch list as well. And you can hear that wherever you listen to podcasts. If you are a patron, also, you get access to the video version of the extended audio portion. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's one more reason to check out Patreon. We do have a couple of ones that are outside the paywall also, just if you want to get a taste of that. But with that, we will see you next week live. All right? Take care.